Welcome to Well Done Life. I'm Daphne Smith, and today is Featured Female Day. I kind of gave a spoiler alert before we actually got to this point. And before we just dive right in, because I want to be very mindful of my guest's time, I want to quickly touch on last week's topic because it was, does it scare you? And I think it was beautiful timing because what I talked about last week is something that our featured female is very familiar with, doing things that scare you. And with that, I do want to go straight to the introduction of a very, very close friend of mine, a dynamic, wonderful, powerful, spirit-filled, giving, caring woman. This is my friend, our featured female today, Lisa Moser. Say hi, Lisa.
Hey, everybody. Thanks, Daphne. That was so sweet.
Oh, I love you, girl. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. And you might be able to see in the background of Lisa, her book, but I'm going to make it right here. Boom. There you go. Lisa is the author of Misconception. And for those of you watching, you may wonder why there's this crown here on the cover. Well, I'm going to tell you, because Lisa is very humble. She's accomplished and humble. Lisa was Miss Ohio and Mrs. International. So she's got more than one crown in her closet. Actually, I think they may be on her shelves, but I'm going to go visit her later this summer, and I'm going to get to see them in the flesh, so to speak. So, oh, that'll be great. You know, I got me some good old hairspray. We'll take lots of pictures. But here's why I wanted to introduce you to Lisa. Those of you who've been following me for a while know that I'm all about living a well-done life. And Lisa is an example of living a well-done life. Lisa has been married to the same man for 28 years. They have 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. And with her accomplishments of, you know, the things she's accomplished in the pageant world, she was a business owner before and during some of that. She is a 2-time published author because the book I just showed you, her most recent book, Misconception, is her second book, actually, because she was the national spokesperson for the American Diabetes Association, and her first book was actually a children's book written about having diabetes. So with Lisa, trying to figure out where I want to go first, because I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
With all of Lisa's accomplishments, one of the questions I asked her is, what does balance mean to you? Excuse me. So, Lisa, help people understand. I mean, 28 years married, so Dawn is still in the picture. You're still married. You've got 4 kids at various stages of school, college, and career. You've got your own business. What does balance mean to you, and maybe even what does it look like?
You know, that's a great question. And when you asked that earlier, I was thinking about that. And I said, you know, I think I said it's like juggling and just trying to keep all the balls going and moving. And really, we have a tendency to, when things are working, I don't know how to explain it. It's like when things are working, if your marriage is working well, and then you have kids and you're in that realm, and then you have a business and you're in that realm, then maybe you're working hard on the business and then you kind of let go of the husband marriage side because that's working well. And so, and then we go over here to the fitness and trying to keep in shape. And then we, you know, and it's kind of like a balancing act, or as I say, juggling balls. And we have a tendency, because the more balls you have to juggle, the harder it gets and the more focused you have to be on each one. And we have a tendency that, what do? We'll just drop that one ball that's just kind of, you know what I mean? You just drop that to keep going, to keep moving, to keep the other balls up in the air. You'll drop the ones that seem to be a little easier at the time. And that's, I think, when we get off balance, is when we have too many balls in the air that we're trying to juggle, and we let the ones fall that we feel are doing okay. and then we get off balance because really as a woman, you know, in this realm of being a woman, a mom, a mother, you know, a wife, a sister, a friend, you know, you're trying to be all things to all people. And we have a tendency to spread ourselves a little too thin. And so for me, balance is just kind of always recognizing those core things that are important to me in my life and trying to give a little bit to each one of those, you know, every day or every week or every month or whatever that looks like for you, to kind of try to stay in that balanced state. Because what happens when there's a thing on my website that I have people do when I'm working with people as well, is to see, it's kind of like a tire, and let's see where the flat areas are, because then you'll really start recognizing that space in your life that you probably you've dropped the ball, whether it's because it's too much work, or you don't understand what you should be doing, or it just seemed easy and you let it go, whatever that is. So balance really is, for me personally, it's just kind of juggling and keeping my eye on the balls that are up in the air at the time.
So it kind of sounds to me, Lisa, like maybe a way to describe balance is awareness.
Yeah.
Being aware of where your energies need to focus, as opposed to the scales of justice. When you think of balance and the scales of justice, they're even. And balance doesn't necessarily mean even.
Absolutely. I don't feel it does at all. I mean, you can't, you know, in this today, there is no even. It's just us doing the best that we can. I mean, even with kids, you know, you said I have 4 kids. I've got 24-year-old and a 14-year-old. And, you know, so, you know, I was talking to my daughter about it the other day. The way I raised her and the way that life was in that 10 years, how it's totally changed. And so as a mom, you're trying to keep up, even with social media and all of this. By the time you finally figure out what's new, your kids have moved on to something else. And so, you know, it's just constantly trying to remain. So everything is constantly changing. And so we just have to kind of be mindful of it and just kind of just keep rolling. Just keep rolling.
Be mindful, be aware. If our daughters had gone live, they probably would have done it the first take. It took us. Oh, well. We're here to give hope, right? So one of the things I want to touch on, back again to your book, Misconception. I like that it just fits perfectly over my face. So your book has you address 5 misconceptions. Great play on words, by the way. I know that was intentional. And I'm gonna share them with everybody who's watching. So misconception number 1: performance and perfection equal love and worth. Misconception 2: if I looked a certain way, I would be happy. And I'm going to break in here before I go to misconception 3. I believe that these misconceptions are applicable across the board. I mean, I've never been in a pageant, and I can relate to these.
Oh, absolutely.
So these are like human nature.
Absolutely. I feel that they're 5 of the top misconceptions that we all deal with in all the coaching and things that I've done through the years. Even when I'm working with clients for weight loss, or you're getting healthy, or diabetics, or whatever I'm working with, these same kind of 5 misconceptions always pop up, no matter what.
Yeah. Okay. So misconception 1 was performance and perfection equals love and worth. Misconception 2: if I looked a certain way, I would be happy. Misconception 3 is based on fear and the stories we tell ourselves. Misconception 4: it's too late. And I got to tell you, I'm so thankful. I had a grandmother, my maternal grandmother, graduated from college at age 69. I dare say I got 4 out of the 5. I'm a good 80%. But that is one that I personally, thankfully, it's like 1, right? So I've got the other 4 to fill the space. And finally, misconception 5: being healthy means eating salads. right? I mean, especially now, oh my gosh, all the different fads that are going on. So this is a little bit of impromptu pressure, but I know
Okay.
you and you can handle it.
It's like a pageant question on stage.
Okay, exactly. I wish I had an envelope. So of the five, which one of those five do you did you have to work on the most?
Whew, a couple of them come to mind, but I would say I think we all have an inner struggle
Mm-hmm.
that we deal with maybe our entire lives. I don't know. For me, my inner demon, so to speak, that thing that I've constantly battled my whole life would be misconception number two, that if we looked a certain way, we'd be happy. And the reason that I say that is because I share in that section of my book about being on the Miss USA stage and coming across and looking like a confident, beautiful young woman that has it all together, competing on national television in a bathing suit and high heels, looking like I have it all together. And what people don't see is the struggle, the internal struggle that I was dealing with, recovering at that time from an eating disorder, from just a really bad relationship with food, and an image of thinking that everything revolved around my looks or my worth, from growing up always being the pretty girl. Oh, you should be a model. Are you a model? Oh, how tough. Always hearing that when you're younger. And it's just the way it was. I'm not saying, I'm not blaming anybody for anything. It's just the way it was back then. And so you start wrapping your mind and your worth around that. And so even though you're out there doing things and looking confident, I had such low self-esteem, and it was just a struggle with food, because for me, I kept thinking if I can look a certain way, I'll finally find that true happiness. And for me, it was wrapped around if I can get to a certain size. But honestly, what was that? I mean, I talk about, in my book, you'll see a photo of me standing on the Miss USA stage. And I will look at those pictures. I'm sure everybody can relate to this. You look back at photos of yourself and you go, what the heck was I thinking? I mean, I look back at that picture and think, oh, shoot, I look good. What?
Y'all can't really see it. You got to buy the book. But here she is.
Yep.
Yeah, girl, you do look good. But you didn't feel that way on the inside.
I felt like an imposter. I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like they missed something. And here I was.
Like, how did I wind up here? Like, if they knew.
Yeah. And then totally felt out of place while I was there. And that's a whole story within the book in itself about being at Miss USA. But just, gosh, the internal struggle that I dealt with food and with counting every calorie that went in my body, doing every diet, everything. And so, when you also asked what is one of the things I'm most proud of, I say my children, and we all, and my family and being married and all that. But honestly, I think on a personal thing, what am I most proud of is how I fought that for so many years, and how I am in a place right now where life is good when it comes to that piece of the puzzle. I learned what I needed to learn about my body, about myself. I educate others. I help other people. And I have such an amazing relationship with food right now. It just, to come that far. And there are times that I think, why did I have to walk that journey? Why me, so to speak? But I keep thinking, what? There are so many women that are my age, 40s, 50s, or 30-year-olds, whatever it is, that struggle so much with their image, their weight. They used to be thin when they were young. Now they gained weight. They don't know. And they just struggle now. And I think, I think I just went through that and walked through it younger. so that I can be here where I am now, so that I can help those women or men understand and come into a place of just living authentically and living to where, gosh, I just went on a tangent today earlier on my Facebook Live where I was talking about all the diets out there now.
Mm-hmm.
And this is art and passion for years since I learned all about this, 20 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But the keto diet and the low carb diet and the all fat diet and putting, eating bacon and a cheeseburger with no bun and putting butter in your coffee diet. I mean, all of those things. Or the, eat nothing but nuts and fruits. I mean, all those. And that's, it's been that way for, I'm in my 50s, since as far as I can remember, those diets have all been around forever. Yep. It's just constant. It's constant. And we're just on this kick. Another 5 years, we'll be on this kick. And when a life turned for me is when I learned about my body and I learned how to eat with a sustainable diet that you can live with.
Yeah.
Life. And so for me, that has just been the biggest gift for me, is that I've gotten to this place and that I can help others get to that place.
Yeah. Cool. Very cool.
The long answer to your question.
It's all good. It's all good. And it's because it's relatable and it's real. Okay. That relationship that we have with food and with our bodies, and it all ties together, and with our health and our wellness, physically, emotionally, it's all intertwined. It's a true tapestry. So I appreciate you sharing that. Now, I know you mentioned the wheel that's on your website. Now, for those of you who are still hanging here with us through technical difficulties and getting started late and all that goodness, if you like free stuff, I want you to type free in the comments, because as soon as we can this video, I'm going to include a couple of links. Lisa provided 2 links for me to share with you, just 2 different resources. One's a resource and one's an assessment on her website. And those are going to be available to you later today. So if you'll type free in the comments, that'll be my cue to go in there and type in those resource accesses to you. Quickly, before we go, I'm going to ask you one last thing, Lisa.
Okay.
How would you encourage someone else? Okay, somebody is, because let's face it, it's by grace that we've made it this long. Not everybody gets to see their fantastic 50s, so we're embracing it. I've been embracing it longer than you have. But the point is, we're here and we're proud. So even to women who have not made it here, and men, come on, men and women who are on their way here or who are already here. Maybe they're stuck. Maybe they're frustrated. Right now is the time of year. It's after spring break and before Memorial Day. So everywhere we turn, the focus is on our bodies and getting summer ready and vacation ready and this and that. And I know that there are people out there who are like, why even try? Because I've tried it before and it didn't work. Or maybe, you know what, there's just no hope for me. I've been this way forever. What's going to be different now? What one little bit of encouragement could you give if they were sitting with you live right now, having a cup of coffee, because I know that's one of your favorite things to do. What would you share with them over coffee to encourage them that, you know what, give it one more try?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a great question. We talk about this a lot, Daphne, you and I, as friends. Yeah. And I think I see so many people, and really it's not even in our 50s, like you said, it's the 40-year-old, it's the third, that I just had this conversation with a 24-year-old, believe it or not, that just don't know. They just feel like, I don't know what to do. What I'm doing now is just not what I love. Or a lot of people our age, they feel like, the time of their life is over. I raised my kids, they're all gone. I'm sad. I mean, I get it, because I'm kind of headed that way, we're empty nesters, or, I'm getting whatever it is. I mean, like I said, the 24-year-old was like, I got this job, but I don't really care for it. I don't know what to do. If you are alive, you ain't dead. So you need to keep on moving. And you know what I found? That if you don't find something that you're excited to get out of bed for every morning, whatever it is, whether it's, like we did, writing a book, or putting a class out there, or going to volunteer at the hospital, or, what I tell a lot of young people that are in jobs they don't like, get a side hustle. Let's figure out what that is that you love. And you don't have to be young to have a side hustle. You can be in your 50s and sitting around bored and say, what do I want to do something. Well, let's talk about it. Let's get a side hustle. Let's get something that gets you excited to get out of bed every morning. And if it's about like you were saying with your weight, or I'm this old, I've always been this heavy. No. I work with so many people that they've just done it wrong all those years. They've just never had a swift kick in the butt all those years. And that's what, you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter what your age is, it's finding something that gets you out of bed in the morning. Because if you don't have that, it's going to be, it's sad. And believe me, I've been there. I think we've all been there. And I've always said that I can always tell when problems start creeping in my marriage, and when this starts happening, and when I'm unhappy, is when I'm sitting around and I don't have something that gets me out of bed in the morning. So I would just tell people, go find what that is. Search it. Figure it out. Find a friend that can help you figure it out if you need to. Whatever a book, something. There's no excuse not to be doing personal development at this day and age, when you can go buy to the library, for crying out loud, and take home a book for free.
Yeah.
You've got something excited. You've got to.
Right. So what I'm really hearing you say, Lisa, is look outside yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look outside yourself. If you are struggling, if you are feeling defeated, feeling depressed, find something to be excited about. And, we hear a lot, thank you, Simon Sinek, about find your why. Yes. That may be a little too much for somebody, okay? Who that might be like running a marathon, when somebody needs to learn how to walk around the block first.
That's right, Daphne. It might just be somebody that used to love to cook, and they just kind of got out of it. Well, for crying out loud, pick a recipe that just blows your mind, go to the store, and the next day get up and be excited about making it.
Try something new.
Yes.
Find something to be excited about.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. When Lisa and I were preparing and talking about this interview, we knew that we had to put some rails on it, because we are good friends. And our families would go hungry this evening, because we would not have fixed dinner, because we would still be on Facebook Live. None of y'all would be watching, but we would be there. So it is 1:30, and even though we started late, I'm still thinking we gave people some real nutrition for their spirit. And that's because, Lisa, you are, like I said earlier, such a giving, generous spirit. And for anybody who would like to learn more about Lisa, first of all, you can read her book, Misconception, available on Amazon, through Barnes & Noble, and other areas worldwide. Go to her website, Lisa Moser, MOSER.com. Remember to type free in the comments, because I'm going to include some links. Lisa has graciously offered an assessment and a resource for you so that you can learn more about yourself. By all means, feel free to reach out and connect to Lisa. She just, her crowning glory, to heck with the titles, is the way she lives her life. So get to know this dynamic woman. And I want to thank you, my friend Lisa, for hanging in there till we connected. Thank you for reaching out last October personally to me to start this relationship. And thank all of you for watching and commenting and engaging. And I want for you to remember, live every day as a well done life. Thanks again, Lisa. Bye for now, everybody.